to you. You look wonderful. No, my first question for you, President Zelensky.
In the same suit.
The war between Russia and Ukraine may still be going strong thanks to Donald Trump's disaster press conference with Putin, but Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky won his war of words against his American arch-nemesis, MAGA reporter, and I use the word reporter very loosely here, Brian Glenn. More on him in a second, but this was so much deeper than just an epic Oval Office put-down over Brian Glenn's previous mockery of Zelenskyy's attire. Because you may have forgotten, but Zelensky was a comedian before he became the president of Ukraine. And not only was that on full display in this hilarious incident, as we'll see, but it might also be one of his greatest weapons against fascists like Putin, Trump, and dumbass MAGA supporters like Brian Glenn who ask stupid questions. So drop a like and subscribe to Really American if you agree that comedy is the best way to fight fascism. And let's start with some exposition of the players in today's Divine Comedy.
Tonight, we highlight a journalist who has quickly established himself as the new paragon of the free press. Chief White House correspondent for Real America's Voice, Brian Glenn.
Who is famous for a couple of things. Firstly, asking Donald Trump hard-hitting journalistic questions like this.
Hey, Brian, go ahead. My question is this. You're building the big, beautiful ballroom. Yeah. Could we build a big, beautiful briefing room? Updated technology, more seats.
I don't want to do that. A lot of Americans think that this is symbolic of what your campaign was all about. America first. Putting the American people first. Your thoughts on that?
We are. Thank you. I like that question. Boy, I want more questions like that. That's even a statement.
Yeah. Brian Glenn's questions are so good, they're actually just statements.
In a similar example of how brainless and desperate Brian is, he is also famous for being the boyfriend of Hulk Hogan lookalike and MAGA Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Liberal women tend to be some of the ugliest women I've ever seen. And I'm serious. I mean, zero makeup.
Well,
they take no pride in their... Well, they want to be men. They take no pride in their dress, their attire, their makeup, their haircut. Half of them look like men. Hairy armpits, hairy legs. Come on.
He is the boyfriend of Marjorie Taylor Greene.
There you have it. Marjorie Taylor Greene, thank you so much for joining me today. And I'm sure I will see you a little bit later.
Okay, I'll see you later.
Oh! I'll see you later for the sex. Man, can you feel that erotic heat, you know? Oh, you're violating journalistic ethics by not disclosing you're sleeping with the politician you're interviewing is wrong. I don't want to be right.
But Brian's most famous moment until now came 4 months ago when this happened.
Why don't you wear a suit? You're at the highest level in this country's office and you refuse to wear a suit. Just want to see if do you own a suit?
Yeah, you have problems.
A lot of Americans have problems with you not respecting
I don't have such.
office.
I will wear a costume after this war will finish.
Okay.
Yes, maybe one.
Maybe something like
yours.
Yes.
Maybe something better. I don't know. We will see. Maybe something cheaper than. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for.
Just another example of hard-hitting journalism from Real America's Voice's Brian Glenn, who got his start covering stories like these.
Everybody follow me. You see, we got some dance moves here now. This is something that you're obviously, there we go. I like this one right here. Out here in the stables this morning as these horses are enjoying some breakfast. And you know what? I am ready for some racing.
Yes. Now there's a man who knows how to dress appropriately for work.
Why don't you wear a suit?
But today, folks, we finally got some karma for that man because Zelensky struck back. Take a look at what he said during this press conference today to Brian Glenn, then we'll break down a little bit more of the man's history and explain how Zelensky humiliated this entire White House in this press conference.
Mr. President, last week, Brian, go ahead, Brian.
Yes, sir. I've got a question for each of you. First of all, Mr. President Zelensky, you look fabulous in that suit.
I said the same thing.
Yeah, you look good.
I said the same thing.
Yeah, looks good.
I said the one that attacked you last time. See, that was I remember that.
Yeah, I apologize to you. You look wonderful. No, my first question for you, President Zelensky.
In the same suit. You see, I changed you.
Maybe yours is much better. Real quickly, upon peace, God willing we get peace, are you open to holding an election in your country?
Yes, of course. We are open for election, yes. We have to do safety circumstances and a little bit we need to work in the parliament because during the war you can't have elections, but we can do security. We need, maybe, how to say, we need a truth, yes, everywhere, in the battlefield, in the sky, in the sea, yeah, to make possible for people to do democratic, open, legal elections.
So you say during the war you can't have elections?
And even that answer was a thinly veiled, not so subtle dig at Donald Trump. You can see here, the two meet, Donald Trump checks out his suit and stuff, so obviously there's that surface level interaction, but this goes so much deeper with Zelensky talking about holding elections and real democracy in his country, his war-torn country, while Donald Trump is currently in the United States trying to gerrymander and rig upcoming elections in more ways than one. You all likely know about Texas, but Donald Trump's new executive order from today is an even more disturbing and blatant power grab.
We have major breaking news right now. Donald Trump has announced that he will be signing an executive order getting rid of mail-in ballots and targeting what he calls our highly inaccurate voting machines. Today's executive order that he will sign, that he just announced minutes ago, will be a direct attack on voting rights across the country and may very well be unconstitutional and will be challenged in a court of law. But he's doing two things. First, he said that he's getting rid of mail-in ballots. And the second, he's getting rid of these so-called highly inaccurate voting machines ahead of the 2026 midterm elections to restore honesty and integrity to the midterm elections. That's what he's saying. This comes as his Justice Department has demanded voter rolls and information from even voting machines in states across the country, and really has become a full-out assault on elections in the United States of America ahead of the 2026 midterm. So spread the word, because this is a huge development.
And you don't only have the irony of Donald Trump now trying to jeopardize the same mail-in ballots and voting machines that supposedly got him elected this election cycle, but also, what about states' rights? Even in federal elections, all votes are counted at the state level. So what, we can give abortion back to the states, but voting? You want to do an executive federal power grab and control so that only you and your people can see the results? So you let me know down in those comments below whether you think that was an intentional dig or not, but regardless of that fact, it was very clear that Zelensky was holding the cards in this situation. Not only did he undermine Trump in that press briefing, did he undermine his sycophantic reporters, but he also undermined the president on social media before the meeting even took place. And who could blame him? After the utterly humiliating and embarrassing Putin-Trump summit from just this weekend.
Wow, this press conference between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin in Alaska could not have gone worse. Whatever went down in that meeting was a total disaster. Even Fox is saying that whatever the heck just took place was a utter failure, because Fox says they've never seen Donald Trump like that. And it seemed like Vladimir Putin just wanted to show up, take a photo with Donald Trump, and then leave and mock and humiliate the United States, while the foreign minister of Russia, Sergei Lavrov, shows up in a CCCP or USSR shirt, mocking the United States and Ukraine. So this press conference just took place between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin. Donald Trump, I mean, he looked defeated. He looked disheveled. He looked sickly. And he says, there's no deal. There's no deal. But just even listen to his voice. It was like he was just crying or something. Here, play this clip.
Mr. President, that was very profound. And I will say that I believe we had a very productive meeting. There were many, many points that we agreed on. Most of them, I would say, a couple of big ones that we haven't quite gotten there, but we've made some headway. So there's no deal until there's a deal.
And then Donald Trump just ends the press conference abruptly. No one is able to ask any questions. It wasn't a news conference at all, which is what they said it was going to be. The lunch gets canceled, and then Donald Trump and Putin quickly leave. Putin goes back to Russia, and then Donald Trump gets in his plane. This was an utter, unmitigated disaster. Here, play this clip.
Thank you very much, Vladimir. And thank you all. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, we see there President Trump and Russian leader Vladimir Putin shaking hands at the end
Now, before Donald Trump rushed off from that press conference, Vladimir Putin mocked him again on stage. And Putin said, "How about next time you come to Moscow?" And Donald Trump was like flustered. Again, it looked like he was going to cry on stage. He's looked so utterly defeated here. Here, watch for yourself as Putin says, "Maybe you want to come to Moscow." Here, watch this.
Again, Mr. President, I'd like to thank you very much, and we'll speak to you very soon and probably see you again very soon. Thank you very much, Vladimir.
Next time in Moscow.
Oh, that's an interesting one. I don't know. I'll get a little heat on that one, but I could see it possibly happening. Thank you very much, Vladimir. And thank you all. Thank you.
And now, before this meeting even went down, you had Zelensky posting on Twitter, completely destroying and disagreeing with Donald Trump's interpretation of how this war started. Trump posting, "President Zelensky of Ukraine can end the war with Russia almost immediately if he wants to, or he can continue to fight. Remember how it started. No getting back Obama given Crimea 12 years ago without a single shot being fired, and no going into NATO by Ukraine. Some things never change." But it looks like Zelensky is actually the one here who has any idea of an art of a deal, because he fired back at Trump, albeit respectfully, saying he was grateful, saying peace must be lasting, not like it was years ago when Ukraine was forced to give up Crimea and part of our east, part of Donbass, and Putin simply used it as a springboard for a new attack. He added, "Of course Crimea should not have been given up then, just as Ukrainians did not give up Kyiv, Odessa, Kharkiv after 2022. Ukrainians are fighting for their land, for their independence. Now our soldiers have successes in Donetsk and Sumy regions." I love this picture of him sipping his coffee like, "How you like them apples, Donnie?" And I just love that not only did Gangrene Glenn get absolutely humiliated,
I'm kicking these shoes off, but I may keep the pantyhose on. It does feel kind of good, actually.
but that was a segue into a much deeper conversation that completely exposes how calling out and shutting down the blatant hypocrisy of this administration and making fun of them day in and day out because there is so much to make fun of is actually one of the strongest weapons we have to fight this fascist regime. So if that is something you support, then by all means, drop a like, subscribe to Really American, and let us know all your thoughts in those comments down below. Now, the two are going on to meet European leaders and talk about many other details around the conflict in the region, and we will be sure to bring you coverage of that as it unfolds. So make sure you have those notifications turned on. For Really American, I'm Kenny Hesse, and I will see you in the next one.
Liberal women tend to be some of the ugliest women I've ever seen. And I'm serious. I mean, zero makeup.
Well,
they take no pride in their. Well, they want to be men. They take no pride in their dress, their attire, their makeup, their haircut. Half of them look like men. Hairy armpits, hairy legs. Come on, that is not embracing what it means to be a woman.